Welcome. Everyone, feel free to join me. Welcome.
Welcome to
Twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. This is Stammer stream, manga podcast, and speech therapy combined. I'm your stammering host, Wensleydale Cheddar, here alongside your non-stammering hosts, Kastor UK, Hovin with an H, Grail9, and Dr. Nova. It's our last stream, guys. How are you feeling?
Not bad.
I'm boiling alive.
Just tired from the work and dealing with my car.
Kastor, you're not in Japan yet, are you?
I'm not. I'm flying out tomorrow.
Ooh.
Ah.
Right. Have a nice flight then.
Well, thank you.
Right then. Yeah. I'm gonna do the last stream, guys. So, we are here to discuss July the 2nd edition of Shonen Jump, but also the new manga in Weekly Shonen Magazine. So, guys, one of my favorite Stammer stream episodes is the one where we discuss the fairy tale ending. Well, our feelings on the series, were pretty negative generally. We all said we'd be interested in reading Mashima Hiro's next work, and it's pretty fitting that we're gonna open our last episode with it. And I think that...
Wait, this isn't fairy tale?
I was going to ask, you know how Kubo and Anoda got shit for having the same character every single time? I keep forgetting it's not Lucy with cat ears, and it's just like, why is Gajeel Chibi?
Also, seems like he just got lazy and decided, I'm gonna put Urza in this series. It's just Urza.
And Happy, and Plu for some reason.
The fuck? What the fuck? Is it literally so they can keep on selling the same, like, plushies? It's like, it's technically cheaper.
Mashima just seems to like reusing the same mascot characters, because he carried over Plu from Rave Master.
And well, I mean, in that case, you could call it just a
point.
small cameo, since it wasn't a prominent character, but now main female character and seemingly some very important character.
Hey, Plu was
total copies.
Plu was Lucy's sidekick in like the first arcs. It was like, what? Who are you? Why aren't you doing anything? Why does everyone say? Why are you in all like this imagery?
And then we just forget all about him. And now Happy. Okay, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about him a bit later on during the second chapter. But I'm somewhat jaded about Hiro reusing him. So all right, we just get the same mascot character, but without all the development that he got in Fairy Tail. So what's the point of being invested
Happy got development in Fairy Tail.
He got slight development in the Edulus arc.
No.
Oh, yeah. He was able to stop chasing fish because he went in a training arc. That was the only development he got. He was a worthless character who was there for comic relief and bullshit.
And shouting, friendship!
He also had a really annoying voice in the anime.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was no way they could have made Happy worse than this. So he's exactly the same.
Oh, I'd say he's a bit better.
I'd say
So far, yeah.
No,
The first
I'm
chapter.
totally doing it.
Oh, you have not.
I just
Okay.
on the space boobies. It's very funny.
So let's talk about the first one, and then we're gonna slightly summarize the second chapter for you. Okay, so what I like about the first chapter is that you don't find out until the last few pages that this is going to be a space odyssey. When Shiki just puts out there that he hasn't been anywhere outside of the island of robots that he lives on, you expect that they're gonna sail the seas and discover different lands somehow, although probably still in a sort of sci-fi setting. But then you find out, okay, they're going to space. That's a neat little elements of surprise he threw at the end. That was neat.
They're escaping to the one thing that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism: space.
Ha!
Have you not seen Cowboy Bebop?
Even real life. Have you not heard of Richard Garriott?
I also have to give them credit. Have to give the guy credit for like the first chapter being like, oh, we're back in random fairy tale land. I'm pretty sure you've stolen the backgrounds directly from fairy tale. They'd be like, fuck it, space. I'm like, cool. That's honestly a decent joke. I'm fine with it.
Okay, one thing I so far quite like. I like this main guy's powers because Natsu's were just like puts his fist on fire and it was very generic, just fire attacks. This one is like it very much emphasizes his increased mobility and just the ability to zip around, and I think that's quite neat. Yeah,
And
The name of
cool.
his powers
Like-
is very close to air gear though, so that's kind of
the gear.
I'm kind of skeptical about it.
It's also this series seems to be an emphasis on like items that are like
Just like a phone call.
mechanical.
I don't think I like it all that much. He uses something that makes him stronger and faster, and he's supposed to be like a machine with it, but it's not like he's got nipple lights. It's not very creative. I guess. Well, his special move is punching someone in the face real hard. Still, so I don't know what to expect later on. I do like the anti-gravity aspect, but he doesn't use it all that much.
Yeah. It's cool for the set pieces, but it's like the second chapter. If it was like, hey, here's this amazing superpower, it's amazingly detailed and amazing in the second chapter, it would have been the second chapter explaining it, and everyone would all be bored.
No, one thing I have to mention about the main character is that he is the standard shonen protagonist, but there's something a bit more endearing when you consider that he's basically been raised on his own with only machines around him that are still a bit more mechanical, so he's really socially maladjusted to dealing with other people. I mean, that's what all shonen characters are, but here there's an actual reason, and while I know it won't happen because this is Hiro, I'd look forward to seeing how that develops.
Yeah, his goal to make 100 friends could be a good opportunity for Hiro to maybe reflect on his own writing, let's say. Friendship is such an important theme in all of his series, so what happens when you don't take it for granted? What happens if...
Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah.
I missed that. Is his goal to make 100 friends?
Yeah, it's like at the end.
I mean, that's one of them. There's also just like a general to see the universe, to go on adventures.
Yeah, I got that one. I had entirely missed the completely dumb thing of I'm gonna make 100 friends, which is dumb even in a series a high school series.
It's like, why that specific number?
It could work. It could work. Well, he's a very dumb kid that hasn't had a lot of experience with interacting with regular humans. So
yeah, or maybe the point.
What happens if he takes friendship for granted, but he doesn't know how to keep it? What happens if he tries to force his friendship on someone because he's socially awkward? How will he react if someone doesn't want to become friends with him even after an adventure together? What happens if friendship doesn't make his power stronger like it did in Fairy Tail? Because after all, it's technology, not magic.
These are lots of ifs.
Yeah.
Also, from everything I've seen, there's technology in this series. It's magic.
Yeah, I know it's not gonna happen because it's Hiro. He's like a 12-year-old
Yeah.
when it comes to
I
his
kind of
writing.
okay. Here's something I could see an angle Hiro going with that I could see that would be quite nice. Here's okay. My goal is to make 100 friends. And then, like, he ends up, like, befriending, like, huge groups of people, kind of the way Luffy does, like, gaining loads of loyalty from, like, lots of people around the galaxy, and actually is like, wow, why did I set my... I thought I'd struggle to make 100, but I made so many.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd also be behind it if it's like the story is how he makes a friend. Essentially, if Hiro directly does the rip off One Piece of every arc, making what like a new friend, to be like, sure, One Piece isn't in space. I can read this. Like, if Hiro does One Piece, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, like a journey, like
Yeah. Also, I'm every time I go through this chapter and it goes to a flashback, I'm keep on thinking to myself, is this from the previous chapter or is this an actual panel from Fairy Tale he's grayed out?
Okay, so you're reading through the second chapter already. Okay.
I've read it, and honestly, yes, Happy is much better by being
Also, those space dragons look pretty effing cool.
I'm not gonna lie, the new Lucy character is also kinda cool.
She actually reminds me a lot more of Ellie from Rave Master.
I also really like. I think the fact that I like the fact that she's like a streamer as well, because that's
the
like
blue tube.
that's a case of that's kind of a case of something fan servicey being worked into the plot in a way that makes sense. Like it makes sense that she'd be wearing kind of a revealing looking outfit and doing cutesy cat things because she's just getting views.
Okay.
Like
Okay, I'm gonna be a little skeptical about this, because while the second chapter at first interested me with the happy twist, but then I realized it's much less interesting than it could be. First of all, it would make much more sense and be much more tragic if the android Happy didn't have the old Happy's consciousness.
Yes.
If the cat really did die and it was just rebuilt with kind of sort of his personality, but it's still AI. Second of all, if Rebecca's job were different, it would explain everything. Because there are some things about this chapter that I kind of question, especially in the flashbacks. Right. So, if she was a genius inventor instead of a bloody YouTuber, everything would make sense. Why does she live in a decent home despite being abandoned, and generally hasn't starved to death despite being abandoned as a kid? Because her talent would be recognized and she would be able to get a grant or something, and that's why she decided to rebuild the bloody cat when it died. And right now
was she the one who rebuilt it?
No,
I thought it was implied to be someone else.
This is a what-if scenario, but right now we don't know how she managed to get the resources for it, because I presume it's not easy to make a cyborg out of a cat.
I actually have a theory. Like, I'm pretty sure they don't reveal it yet, but when there's a panel where Happy's just been run over, the one guy that says there's the guy to hold his tongue has a design a bit too detailed to just be a random background character. So it might be setting up that he actually did it at the request of Lucy.
Yeah, I'm sort of assuming that there was a friend she had who rebuilt it. Hey, we might as well.
Yeah, it is Lucy. I'm not going to call her anything else.
Because, by the way, I've just gone to the last page. Fuck you, Hiro.
Oh, you hadn't seen Urza being in
I haven't
yet.
Elsie Crimson.
Elsie Crimson.
It's fucking Urza. Just because she put on an eye patch and Captain Harlock cosplay doesn't mean that it's not Urza.
If Jalal fucking turns up, we know. I'm sorry, I shouldn't
Not
say
if, when.
When.
Oh dear.
It's a chapter 2. I honestly, for Hiro's rating, I expected less, so I'm kind of pleased with. This is kind of cool. The Lucy character is interesting. I'll be interested to see how long that lasts until she's just down to weird fan service. But I didn't read it because I thought it was going to be boring, and I'm just like, okay, I might keep up with this now.
Yeah, I was thoroughly entertained by these 2 chapters. I feel like the thing is, knowing the way I am with Mashima, this could either be like legitimately decent or bad, entertainingly bad. So unless it rises the middle ground and it's just boring, I'm pretty on board with this.
Yeah, like, I know that I'm most likely gonna be entertained because it's Hiro. Like, Hiro might be many things, but he is not boring. He does not hit that middle ground. He either goes, okay, that was fucking stupid, or okay, that was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I
Or
said,
sometimes, okay, that was just goddamn retarded. Why did you do that?
yeah,
As
I said, this manga could be a good opportunity for self-reflection, but as I said, he's
Oh, it's not
he's
gonna
a 12-year-old. He's incapable of self-reflection. His nature makes his stories very sincere, very enthusiastic, but also very, very stupid and saccharine. Which, by the way, how did you feel about the twist at the end of the first chapter? About the
Which one?
About the confrontation with the with the society of robots and then we were your
It's very
friends
Hiro
all along.
Mashima.
It did not leave any impression. I had forgotten this had happened.
Yeah, same.
And I literally read it 5 minutes ago.
All right. I guess I've got some. The virus excuse
By the way-
is so paper thin, but I can forgive it since it's a lie. It would be more clever if it actually makes some sense, but it isn't. So what you gonna do?
By the way, is Eden Zero the most stereotypical edgy manga name you've ever heard, or what? It's like Bible reference
Yeah.
number.
I feel.
Adam's 11.
Yeah, pretty much. Ocean's 9. Hang on, that's not.
well, I mean, I'm gonna give it a pass until we see what Eden Zero actually refers to.
Thing is, the last one was a dumb question of do fairies have tails, so I am not holding out any hope.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say that for now I'm entertained and willing to see where it goes, if only because this is Hiro, and I know I'll be entertained no matter what.
All right. I mean, I have some more thoughts. I guess. I was a bit disappointed by the robots. I think his best friend, the one who looks like a scarecrow, Michael, I think was his name, says he can't cry because he doesn't have a heart. So I get that it's figurative language and all that traditionally from the perspective of, but from the perspective of a robot, I don't get how they accept the concept of feeling with your heart as a thing. Because they make
They're not robots, they're magic. Question.
They make it a big deal that a true friend is someone who can cry for your fate. So you could just say that they can't cry because they lack lacrimal glands, and nothing in the message would have changed. But except it would make more sense for a robot to say it. But whatever. What do I expect? It's fairy tale. I'm sorry. It's Eden Zero. It's Hiro.
It's Hiro. Let's just
It's
put it
also
that way.
chapter 1. If I'm fully involved, I'm fully fine to give a pass on like soppy one-liners that sort of rip off The Wizard of Oz.
I'm gonna say if Shiki, if the protagonist gains nipple lights.
I keep forgetting his name.
If Shiki gets.
If Natsuga Jill.
If Natsugray more like.
Really? I literally saw Gajil in every single panel that came up.
I can't see it.
Not fair enough.
If he gets nipple lights, then I'm gonna enjoy this series no matter what.
That would be a hard turn if Hiro decided I'm going to do male fan service for this entire series. I would give him a round of applause. Congratulations, man. That took a lot of balls. Well done.
All right then. So, I feel like in the second chapter there is a legitimately good story there, but it's ruined by the fact that Hiro doesn't think his audience can take a loss of a character. You won't.
He killed the damned cat. It was.
No, he
it was,
didn't.
It
He
was,
didn't kill the
he
cat.
did.
No, he didn't kill the cat. It was only this was only rebuilding him as a cyborg. Something
Should
like
we
that.
move on from this? We've been going
Yeah,
really
yeah.
long.
Okay.
Yeah.
The happy death was fine.
It's if he really did kill the cat, then it's fine. But it's still ruined by Rebecca being a YouTuber. What I'm trying to say, fuck YouTubers. Am I right?
Rebecca will never be an important character. Well, it's too late.
Hey, Pot, you see that kettle over there? He's calling you black.
Anyway, let's move on to One Piece, chapter 909. Who's up? Who's up? Who's up?
That was
He's
kind of. I
staying-
like this chapter.
He's selling Snake Oil.
Butters!
Best chapter. The best thing we could end Stellar stream on.
Hey, guys, all fixed up. I've patched you up, and your natural healing speed should be faster now. You can leap off that leg by tomorrow.
My favorite though was Frankie going, "Hey newbie, you fucking did this, right? Yeah, what's your problem? Nothing, you fucker. It's perfect. Trying to praise you, you idiot. Yeah,
I
I
love
appreciate
Frankie
you,
getting
old
a
geezer."
job. It was adorable because essentially the guy, like, it was like, I bet Frankie's actually missed this.
Apparently, this guy is also an SBS character that pops up in the anime once in a while. Since
No, actually, I heard that it was like in SBS they asked like in first chapter the mountain bandit Higuma smashed the door, but when they left it was already done. How did
Yeah.
that happen? Or they just put it in SBS like this guy repaired it right away. He's really good.
So
Was anyone else concerned with Robin?
I did have a thought, which is like, okay, like I like that she's. If they were framing that as like, oh, she's a dancer and she's getting a dancing get up, that would be one thing. But it's the fact that she's a geisha and she's trying to get summoned to,
They're
to
very
his
much
chambers.
She wants to be
isn't
like
that
the Emperor's new courtesan. But what I'm more worried about is the fact that she doesn't look okay with this. Because of all of them, I'd be like, yeah, Robin had survived by herself for 10 years. She would be down for all this. But she's all of them. She's the one that looks like upset with her position.
I think
And that's including fucking Zorro.
I think she's like more tired from the dance than anything.
Which
Yeah.
is not like, yeah, it's just me being concerned. It's like, of all of them, Robin should be the one leading this like inserting herself into a new culture.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's like I
she
know it's
kind
not
of is because think about it. If she gets some of the Shogun chambers, she's the closest to Shogun to get info, try assassination, anything.
Oh, if she
really.
fucking kills it, it's going to be great. Just Robin turns up, it's like, what? do you remember,
Well, I
when I
mean,
worked for
maybe not
Crocodile?
because even if they kill the daimyo, that doesn't really stop Kaido from anything.
Yeah.
It was just more to say, oh, that's unfortunate, Oda. You could have had your strongest female character is the one being shown to be the least strong in this chapter. It's just like, that's a shame.
Well, it's just a facial expression.
I do think the sweat drops support that. It's just been really strenuous doing that dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And I mean, she is the one who's getting the most done. I mean, the Usopp and Frankie are
What the
just
fuck is
fitting in.
Usopp doing?
Usopp and
If
Frankie
anything-
are fitting in. Zoro is already blowing his cover, and she's actually infiltrating the enemy ranks real well, getting
Okay.
up with the higher ups.
I want to know what Zorro was doing, because everyone else is just like, I'm part of the culture, and he's like Ronin. Literally, he inserted himself as like a good for nothing who belongs nowhere. It's like, what was your plan? What were you trying to be? But you
This
ended up
was
as
Zoro.
Wow,
You really
maybe
think
he was
he had a
trying-
plan?
He lost he lost directions immediately and got caught.
Yeah, it's just like I saw Ronin. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's, I didn't know what else you're gonna be.
Interesting about Usopp, I guess his precision translates to swordsmanship as well, since we see him. I mean, he probably exaggerates, but we see him actually being able to cut a piece of paper into 64 pieces in mid-air. So.
Oh,
That's
I'm
what
sure it's a trick. I'm sure he literally has paper that is already cut and being held by something really, really
Okay.
heavy.
Okay.
I'm sure everything he's doing is like a Toad Oil salesman. It's like he's the stereotypical trickster.
Yeah, the guy who sells you
Yeah.
shit that doesn't work and just has all
Yeah.
these tricks on how you fooled them.
Yeah,
Also-
that's exactly what he's doing.
I guess
Also,
it
just
would make a bit of
Oda's-
sense with his accuracy, but yeah, there probably is some sort of trick.
Also, Oda's clearly been looking forward to using this setting for a while, as you can tell
Yes.
from like the architecture and just that first 2-page spread with the shamisen and everything. Oh, I can't wait for the soundtracks for the anime to come out.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
So should we also mention Marco and Nekamushi,
Yes.
as well as learning a bit more about Whitebeard?
It was a
we
very
can.
heartwarming tale, honestly. I did really like that bit of background about his hometown and how he emerged to be what he was in the first place, and it all makes sense given how much family was important to him.
Yeah, plus how he'd
Hmm.
always make weaker territories his to protect them.
Mm-hmm. Also,
I didn't care for it. I didn't feel necessary. Just like, this is honestly felt counterproductive to his idea that he had another family he was caring for as well as his children, to the point where they mentioned that he seemed to care for this island more than his ship family. Just like, this
In what
is
way?
I don't
because
think so.
Marco goes on that thing about how he was always cheap. He never treated us to dinner because he was sending all his money back here. It's sort of like,
Yeah, those guys have money. These guys don't. That's
Yeah.
kind of the difference. That's just like, you don't share equally with all your friends. I mean, you're giving so much to that guy living on the street, but nothing to the guy living in a mansion.
I didn't care. It was just like, oh, that's an interesting bit about Whitebeard. That wasn't needed. Just like,
It's
I liked it.
I think it's
Context is an end unto itself, which is why
it was cool for Marco, but if it had been
which is
Marco's
why I
backstory,
don't
it'd have
mind-
been far better.
No, I'm of the opinion that context is an end unto itself, which is why I don't hate the Kanto Bite section in Last Jedi as much as most of the internet seems to. But
yes.
And that's why you're wrong.
The internet hates part of Star Wars. The devil, you say?
Did you guys hear about the campaign to remake it?
No, I do not want to hear. I think I did,
know-
but I don't want to risk losing any more
That's
faith in humanity than I already
See,
have.
Which
that
one was
campaign
this
is
one?
that
bloody
campaign is
man
definitely a
babies.
scam. I'm just gonna say that campaign is definitely a scam, but it's still funny to look at how many people who don't realize it's a scam pushing for it.
Post-law is in full effect here, I would say.
Which one was it? Because I heard about one, but that was a while ago.
There's like a fake Kickstarter thing to remake The Last Jedi.
Oh, there's
and-
one of those too? Huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the one you were thinking of, Grail?
There was also a fan cut
There was like-
that cut out all the women and I think fucking man babies.
Probably all the black people. Probably.
But we're getting off track, and we don't even have the resident TLJ hater here. So
Oh dear lord.
Nova hates The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
I
there
I
was
kind of
like a
get
huge-
that
with
because
passion.
I do see a lot of I do get that because I see a lot of problems with the movie and I'm split down right the middle myself. But I'm not going to discuss that here since it's not really my thing.
we've
I
got
mean-
quite a lot of manga to get through.
We
Yes.
do.
Yeah, let's
keep on
get back
going.
to that.
So coming
Also,
back
we
to
do get mentioned to.
so
Yeah, I was
coming
going
back
to say
to-
we do get mentioned to the Edward Weevil, the guy who's supposed to be Whitebeard's son.
I do love Marco's reaction. Is this sort of like, yeah, could have banged her.
that
like-
was possible. They were on the same
I
ship.
knew I knew my pops. It's very possible.
I must say, I am looking forward to when we can see a generation before Roger. What exactly?
I am fascinated by that idea, which I think we had last week, that Kaido and Big Mom were on the same crew.
I don't think they said that they were on the same crew,
missed
just
that.
that they had more close relationship before.
I picked it up that before Roger, there was a crew to which Big Mom and Kaido were on, and not the captain, and were not the captain of, and that was the generation before Roger, and that was the generation that Garp proved himself.
I will okay.
It would be interesting.
I will put forward.
Yeah.
I will put forward the idea of like I'm not sure whether this chapter will be the it's just going to go straight into Wano stuff, or if it's going to be like the end of Dressrosa, where we got a quick cut ahead to Zoe, and then it goes back to a Dressrosa wrap up.
We're probably
I'd
gonna cut to
imagine we
Luffy.
haven't finished the Reverie, like, and that's important shit going on.
Yeah,
Especially with all the info we've now learned about it.
it was a
Unless
bit
we're
weird
gonna be like
moment
a
to cut away,
flashback.
though. It was a
Yeah.
weird moment to
I am
cut
just
away.
wondering. I am just wondering if the Reverie is just going to be we're setting up loads of mystery and questions, and then we just cut away.
I would be pissed.
I have a
because-
feeling it's gonna do that.
You know,
because
I
there
actually
is
think they might.
legitimately like because there is legitimate tension of that something is going to happen in the short term because the revolutionaries are going to try and like wreck shit and are going to lose.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I'm a bit annoyed at. I do get annoyed at Oda a bit in that, like, in a lot of the big consequential arcs, which involve loads of characters we've seen before and big world-changing events, he does tend to get through them very quickly. Like Marineford was under 4 volumes long, and I think it could have used an extra volume.
I am not complaining. Marineford was too short. That's like on top of Impel Down and like and everything else.
Yeah.
That was long enough.
Especially
Also,
since we
have
didn't
you
see
guys
news
heard why none of
White
Whitebeard's daughters were there?
Has this been confirmed in the manga?
This is an SBS.
Oh.
Oda's official reason why only his sons turned up, because Whitebeard forbid all his daughters from coming into
I
fight with him.
thought there were like allied crews that had like female captains.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Allied
those
crews,
aren't-
possibly, but none of his children, inverted commas, like which is like, oh, Oda, I'd forgotten
it's
you
like
were
difference
insanely
between
sexist.
those. Yeah, this is the difference between those like Luffy's crews that joined him at Dressrosa and his like real crew.
Yeah. Which I fucking love. It's like, you fucking idiot, you made
He could have
yourself a
literally just
comedy.
said he didn't take in any daughters. That would have fixed that. Like, I mean, it would. I'll
It's not
take. Okay, here's the thing.
better.
I don't.
I don't
think it
I'll
will-
honestly take. I wanted to write this crew of being all men over. There were women, but our sexism decided to fuck them over.
I'm not sure if
Like, for the
if it wouldn't be even more sexist, but I don't know.
No, I don't think it is, because I can generally like I always prefer there to be a mix of genders in a given cast, but like if your excuse for just having only men or only women is wanted to write a story with a male cast or a female cast, I can somewhat respect that.
True, but it would then say something about Whitebeard, which is well, that could have worked actually. Yeah, it was probably it was not a good answer from Oda, and it's like there are better answers, but none of them are particularly good.
Bottom line, there were
Maybe just don't answer it.
Bottom line, there were too many dicks on Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm gonna say that Marco looks very natural with those glasses. It's like Oda came up with that design before he knew how he'd look like pre-time skip.
He reminds me of Crocus, like just being there, having been this part of a big thing, and this like, I am here now, I'm happy.
Well, we also do find out that both were ship doctors. I don't think we knew before that Marco was the ship's doctor.
No,
True.
but
It makes a
does make
lot of sense
with his
since
power.
his literal powers is magic healing.
So one wonders why Whitebeard need. Well, okay, he probably didn't need those nurses. He just wanted them.
Yes, that was the reason why his daughters were, because they complained when he brought on his stripper nurses.
So we also learned that there was a pirate incident 23 years ago, meaning about
Do you know,
around
I just
the time
realised.
when Roger was Pirate King and Odin was his crew member. So which was apparently the time
Yeah.
when Moria took Ryuma's body and sword. So, interesting. I thought it happened before that.
Yeah. Well, it could have been, and Moria just got it later down the line. But it would be Occam's razor that Moria just stole it from there.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about more about Ryuma's death, since I can't remember if he was just a skeleton or if there was some flesh on his body, on Ryuma's body.
He was a skeleton, but it's also been like in-universe confirmed that he was the character from a one-shot Oda did.
Oh yeah, but how long ago did it happen in the One Piece universe? His death, his fight against that dragon, and
I don't know. From this sound of it, 20. I don't know. I don't think we've had actually had a date. But I imagine it would be in the distant past. Otherwise, Oda would then technically be confined to everything he laid down in that one shot, never thinking it would be part of this universe.
all right.
Yeah. By the way, I just realised something. If Marco's the ship's doctor, when Whitebeard died, he was currently in sea stone shackles, making that even more fucking tragic.
Oh.
It's just like that's dark. The fact that he was trying to get to him, to heal him, just like you can't because Porciello's a dick.
Oh dear. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to maybe they'll have another confrontation. All right. So let's talk about maybe a little about the final scene. So, who did the magistrate kill in the first place? Because I was left a bit confused.
Random poor people.
Okay.
That was what I picked up. It's like, honestly, as a quick 3-line reason to make me want Zoro to kill this guy, I am fine with this.
Okay. I just
the guy in power, yeah.
I just felt like this was a thing that we were supposed to know a little more about. I don't know.
I think it was an interesting insight because it sort of sets out how Wano society works quite nicely, in that the powerful are able to just kill the lower classes, or like the rich people are able to kill poorer people and just get away with it because of their position. That's an interesting insight into, okay, this is the society we're inserting ourselves into.
Oda's like, I'm doing Black Clover now, just better.
That'd be great. It's like, hey kid, watch this done properly.
So, okay, just a quick note. I appear to have gone hay. I'll try and turn off the mic before every sneeze, but I can't make any promises.
That's fine.
Don't
I'm
worry,
dying
okay.
of that as well.
I'm gonna edit it anyway, so I'll cut out as much as possible.
And most of my talking.
Right then. So, let's talk maybe about a little about our predictions for One Piece. So, what happens next? Personally, I hope we see Kumadori from CP9 in this arc, because we haven't seen him.
That would work pretty well.
We haven't seen him with
Oh,
CP0,
yeah.
and I wonder, is he Kanjuro's brother?
That's a weird theory.
Which one's Kanjuro?
He's the
pink-haired.
The ninja. Oh no, he's
Oh.
you're
not
right.
the
He's
ninja.
the other samurai. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
so,
the
yeah,
pink-haired one, so-
Kanjuro was the samurai with the drawing fruit.
Fair, yeah. No, it would make sense if he was from Wano.
It could be just pretty interesting, is all. What do you guys think?
Also, this arc is going to be bloody long.
Yes, it's a modern One Piece arc. What do you?
What do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's
And
gonna tell
especially
him
just
it's
because
not.
there's so much going into it. There's the presence of Kaido. It's been built up for ages.
Oda obviously enjoys, is excited about it from just this chapter alone.
I think I also think this will be interesting because this is the first arc we've had in ages where there's no one specific and then the next step for the Straw Hats after it. Because we always had that with like Dressrosa, we had the lingering thing of Zoe, and like the separated crew. And then in Zoe we had the lingering thing of both Wano and Whole Cake. And then in Whole Cake we had Wano. And like it doesn't appear that there's any like this seems to be the end point of this plot thread, at least unless it just evolves into something else. So it'll be nice to like have an arc which I can just enjoy without something big in the back of my head, aside from I guess the various plot threads at Reverie.
Now hang
It
on.
feels a bit
how
like
many, how many rote
Alabaster.
poneglyphs do they have?
2.
2?
two right now, and they're trying to get to the third one, which is
Yeah.
So I would imagine Kaido has one of them, and Blackbeard has the
Well,
other by
possibly
now.
even more. Weren't there like 9 road pawning lifts?
No,
I think there's
4.
4 because they make a cross, and that shows where Raftel is.
yeah. And,
Maybe
and-
I just remember. I'm just gonna look this up actually.
Oh yeah. They did give out numbers, but I'm pretty sure there were only 4 red poneglyphs.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
I think there were 9.
I did love when he was saying
Rio
it's like
poneglyphs,
they're
maybe.
red ones. It's like, Oda, you write a black and white manga. They look no different from any of the other ones. It's like,
I think,
So,
I think
hey-
he's just aware that the anime is big and like, lots of people watch that.
Yeah.
So
I just thought it was clever to be like, there are special ones that if I've ever drawn all the poneglyphs together before, no one can tell because I'm in black and white. Screw you
Okay,
guys
yeah.
for the anime.
Okay, yeah, there were only 4. I remembered somehow wrong. So yeah, they had 2. Kaido might have 1, and 1 still missing.
The missing one will be good because then they could race Blackbeard for that one, which would be like a cooler thing than let's break into somewhere for the 3rd time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, even then, problem would be like Blackbeard still doesn't have like 2 of them. I doubt Big Mom would share hers, and he clearly hasn't been to Zoe.
The thing is, the Straw Hats are currently carrying rubbings of 2 of them, which I'm sure are going to get stolen at some point.
All right. They should probably just commit those to memory and they'll destroy them.
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
this is just okay. This is just me.
Don't
Another
say
prediction I have for this arc, based on not very much aside from like, in fact, based on basically nothing. I have a feeling this arc it'll start off as just a conflict within Wano, and then other powers will just kind of converge on it, and it'll just erupt into a huge, kind of battle between lots of different factions, like the Marines and Big Mom and Kaido.
Well, I'm not sure Marines
Within
would
it.
attend because Wano it does not belong to world government, but you did just get me really excited for a fight between like Kaido and Big Mom. Like,
Or actually, no, it could possibly. I mean, given where things were going there, they could bring Big Mom's crew could just arrive here to be an ally. So basically, like, oh god, how the Straw Hat's gonna get out of this?
Yeah,
Honestly,
since-
I'm
since-
no,
expecting-
I don't think they
it
would
is
be an
the-
ally because they both have said like, "Hey, I want to kill Luffy." No, I want to kill Luffy.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck
It's
you.
going to be like, I'm imagining that this is going to be the arc where it's going to be like, I keep drawing the parallel to Alabaster because it'll be like, you've heard about how big the emperors are, just as how you'd heard about how big the warlords were. And we've been building up and building up and building up. And it's new land and go through all this thing of let's touch this untouchable guy, which is eventually going to be like an actual fight between the Straw Hats and the allies they build and the allies they bring in and Kaido's crew. And it'll be the first like defeat of an emperor we're going to have.
Yeah.
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 Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Shall we? Is that everything or?
Yeah, I guess I'm still wondering if the Straw Hats are ever going to get to Elbath. Although I guess we have no
Probably.
clues right now for that. So
I think Usopp's story's been gone back to it enough times, like over the years, for it to be like a thing that's going to happen.
yeah, possibly. Speaking of Usopp, I'm actually wondering since he didn't have any training with his haki. Just like Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy probably did. So I'm kind of wondering if this is gonna be. I know One Piece isn't very big on training in the first place, but if it's gonna be a plot point somewhere, it could be.
Oda likes doing it in time skips, like that time Luffy was just like, "Hey, I've been working on Gears 2 and 3 for a while." And that's like, "Okay, sure."
Well, there has been one for Usopp since he's been out of the series for a moment.
And I'm imagining during this time he's been practicing his perception haki, which will come up in a clinch moment in a fight.
It would be interesting if Zoro kind of mentored him for a while there, especially.
Can you imagine Zoro teaching anyone, let alone Usopp?
Well, I mean, Zoro might not be the best at observation. Well, he does
Yeah.
actually at least know it.
Because I thought Sanji was the one that was observation hacky.
I think it was the other way around. I think
No, because Sanji dived in Punk Hazard and literally did that thing of I'm going to dive into the freezing lake and like mental scan to find out what to find Kinnaman's body.
So, wasn't he the armament expert? And Zoro the...
Zoro was definitely the armament expert. And...
Okay, I'm gonna have to...
Yeah,
because
it
if
meant
Zoro
somewhere
had
Sanji is the best at like observation, Zoro best at armament, and Luffy best at conqueror. Well, only one of them.
Only. Because if Zoro had perception hacky, he'd know where he was going.
Oh, right. Yeah, so we
There's
can't make him
like-
good at it.
Legitimately, you can't give Zoro observation hacky because it wouldn't work at all.
All right. Oh my god, that's good. Oh, right. Okay, I think we've exhausted our thoughts on One Piece. All right then. So, shall we move on to Food Wars? Shokugeki no Soma?
Yeah, sure.
Right, so
The
that's...
chapter that revealed that Megumi is actually the ultimate mommy GF.
So that's chapter 268 and 269, appropriately. So, sometimes I'm reminded how good a character Megumi is. This in-between comedic arc has stronger development for her than the dreary regiment battle had for any other character participating. Mr. Cultural Appropriation was a fun character for her to go against, and part of which is him being just so goofy, and the other part being a hardened chef threatening to kill the mafia, being defeated by her kindness and her ideal of hospitality. And he gained another level of depth since he already affects being American while being from Central America. From Mexico, I think they are implying. I don't know.
I think something fucks up somewhere because he's definitely. I think he's meant to be from Florida.
Okay. Yeah, that
And I
makes sense.
think they fucked up either the author or the translator fucked up the geography.
Okay. All right. That's probably it. Also, in this case, Megumi is a better phonetician than I am. That's a bit of an unexpected skill for her to have, but yeah, all right.
It was cool. Like literally
I-
learning about the different types of home all around the world was a nice touch.
I really like that she's kind of fitting into the role of being the new Hinako, from the Shinomiya's generation, the woman who was quite sort of like matronly in that.
Okay.
And creepy.
What? No.
She spent most of it pseudo molesting Megumi.
She wasn't. It didn't come off that way. I don't think.
Her peers had to be like, "No, this is creepy, and we're taking you away."
She was just doting on her. It wasn't like there was nothing like sexual about it.
Well,
Milo, I think you may be just looking at it different ways since yeah.
The joke was, it's like, I think you should step away from her now. It was literally her like classmates just like, she's doing this again. We're just going to remove her now.
can we just talk about this chapter now and how it makes Megumi even be awesome again?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah,
the way
this is
she
nice.
actually used her resources as one of the Elite 10. Like, she wasn't just, I'm going to challenge everyone all the time to get better. No, I'm actually going to take all these resources we have and use that to improve myself in the way I've already excelled at.
Also, I love that she literally got given like the unlimited budget of the Elite 10 and was just like, I'm going to do both the most work and the most like, I'm not going to let this go to my head at all. So I'm literally just going to go and live with the people in all these different countries. I'm going to play football with the kids in the street in South America. I'm going to help people gather coconuts in Polynesia. To be like, I'm literally going to use this to go and meet everyone I possibly can. Be like, you're adorable.
Yeah.
But that's just it's a very, very good way of showing it. I can't imagine any other of the Elite 10 is going to have like the same sensible reaction.
I mean, it's literally like I know the series is just going to keep going with this stupid like food mafia thing.
Yes, it's great.
Literally all I need from this show is just give me an idea of what all the other elites are doing and then just end. Like, the only thing I wanted post Azami was just give Megami some more development and another spotlight, and we've had that. I could happily just wrap this stuff up now.
Yeah, maybe let's just have a wedding scene between Alice and Kurokiba for Dr. Nova's sake, and yeah.
I've got to say, I am all for this continuing, because if it was wrapping up after that, what the Asami arc, the bullshit the Asami arc turned into, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, this I'm enjoying very well, and I just moving sort of into predictions, although we can still discuss the chapter if you like. I think the midnight chef mafia arc, whatever it's going to be called, le cuisinier de cuisine, is going to be way more...
Cuisiners Noir.
Rare food hunters.
It's going to be way more goofy and thus more enjoyable than the regiment one. I'm looking forward to it.
They've jumped the shark. They know they jumped the shark. The climax of the last arc had an entire stadium being stripped by magic powers that they admitted halfway through the arc were actual magic powers. If they don't go balls to the wall, we're going to fight this underground cooking mafia that is completely that totes exists and no one actually knows about, but has all this power. It's the only way they can go from here. They lost all credibility in the last arc. Also, when they tried credibility, it didn't work. Let's have the show where everyone's clothes explode and people get carried away by onion-headed fishmen.
Yeah, the series is always best at its goofiest, I would say. So.
I also want to see food marek and how ancient Egyptian items are making.
All right.
Because this series has literally gone to the same thing as Yu-Gi-Oh! The entire problems of the world are caused by and solved by Shokugekis. I want the Battle City food tournament.
Yeah, it would kind of be. It's essentially after a few arcs. It's just the world of Toriko now, is it? It just is. We're
turn
gonna
up in guns
hunt for
in
the
space.
8 kings.
Hey, if Eden Zero goes and visits some gun planets, it'll be great.
All right. Any other predictions? Or shall we move on?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, move on.
All right then. So let's move on to My Hero Academia, chapter 188 and 89. So it seems like the fight between Endeavor and the intelligent Nomu is coming to a close. Chapter 188 does a great job establishing Mr. Todoroki's limitations, for which reason he had to, breed Shoto. His pride as the new symbol of peace, and his determination so as not to fall, to not let the symbol fall to ruin. And in the recent chapter, we see how Hawks, in a way, admired that no one ever even tried to overtake All Might as number one. No one but Endeavor. And just as the one-eyed hero readies his final punch, Hawks adds speed to his raw power, and together they form the best combo attack, Hot Wings.
They didn't call it Icarus.
I'm just she called it that. Eh?
It's like literally, it's him being flying too close to the sun. It works so well.
So I have to admit that somehow this last chapter made me think, my God, Endeavor's fucking cool.
Yes.
Like, he's like, I can't move for Jack. I'm just using my flames to just whack like thrusters on everything. It hurts like shit. I'm probably not gonna be standing for a month after this, and I'm already burning up because of my weakness with this quirk, but I'm still doing it just so I won't lose.
It was so fucking cool, but it wasn't a I won't lose. It was a legitimate defining hero moment. Just like, I can see why this guy, despite all the shit he does, is a hero.
Mm.
Be like, I have legitimately lost an eye. Every piece is like, this guy's eye has been lost, but this magazine won't let me publish the bloody charred remains. Be like, watch me fire myself across the sky to punch this guy with my body.
I also find it I find it really interesting that like this isn't really a complaint, but again, I will say this fight definitely ramped right up to Endeavor's on his last legs and he's using the last of his strength a lot more quickly than I expected, because I think I'm just used to other shonen series where there's usually a very protracted fight before it gets to that point, but Hiroraka does just like to get straight to the point with it.
My hero does go very quickly when you think about it.
And even then, that's always what I wondered, like, both My Hero and Black Clover have really fast pace, yet in My Hero I always think that it doesn't bother me at all and just makes it move to hit all the important points quickly, rather than let's just rush all over the important points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
because it's
Dr.
well
Stone.
written, and other characters apart from Deku have purpose.
Yeah.
And it has really streamlined, like, nothing in this fight has been wasted. They hit like one chapter for each important point, and nothing feels like it's flab or just there to pad things out.
Which is weird because there is definite padding that is used to like build up. Like the entire thing they had at the end of like the previous chapter of holy shit, watches this world as he is dead and he's taken out of this fight and as the world is watching. And it's like that's amazing build up when he gets back up. It's like, no, legitimately this guy watch the new fire of peace. It's just like this is kind of cool.
Yeah, I would say that was filler because that was like building context to it all. Like
It
how
was,
much...
but it could have been cut if they were like if he was like literally being I need to fit more into this chapter. But he has time for build up, and it's like this is amazing.
And I do wonder like what Todoroki's reaction here is, the Shoto Todoroki's, because because
There's a lot of Todorokis.
Yeah, that's why like this he's really shocked because, well, yeah, his father is a shithead, but it's still his father who's at least shown some signs of trying to change, so it's gotta be weird what he's feeling right now.
And it's doubly interesting because they have the other Todorokis, his brother and sister, giving the argument of no, this guy is an asshole, and like this guy is legitimately they are all aware. It's like they literally the people online at the moment saying it's like Endeavor's not a hero. Look at all this shit he's done. The mangaka's included literally that perspective in his story to have the counter argument to it. It's amazing.
Well,
So it'd be Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, no one on the internet says that. It's, well, I mean, you mean real life internet or the in-universe internet?
No, real life.
Real life.
Yeah,
internet.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they do also address that why everyone doesn't just hate him for that, because he's really good at keeping it secret. He didn't make it public.
Oh yeah, which makes it even like shadier. Like like child services never got involved because he's a hero. It's like, ooh.
And it did kind of make it pretty interesting, like how they address that he's not just gonna say, that didn't happen, I'm good now.
Oh,
He is
yeah.
actually taking on everything that he did.
And it's like it's a legitimate one because it's like he's a terrible person, but he's still a hero. Like even at Hosey, when he was still an asshole. It'd just be like, no, this guy's legitimately saving the city nearly single-handed from all these Nomu now. It's like, cool. So like the apocalypse is being halted by Endeavor while we have the Stain fight. Be like this guy, and it's going to be interesting because it's like he's a very different symbol of peace. But these chapters are showing it's like this is a very good origin story for hey, there is a reason I'm the #1 hero. Watch me destroy my literal body, as All Might did, to save people.
Though I do have to wonder one thing, like there is still one more child he has that hasn't been shown yet, and this is a theory I had at one point, though it never got confirmation. I think that child might be Dobby from the Villains Alliance.
Yeah, I think I heard either you make that prediction or someone else.
Yes, I saw some fan art of Darby like talking to like I think it was him and Shoto, and it said brothers, and I assumed it was a spoiler for this or last week's chapter, but it wasn't. It was just fan art.
Yeah, just like the first time I thought of that was like when they were escaping being at the training camp arc, he referred to Todoroki by his full name, which I kind of thought weird. Like, why would you just call someone by their full name like that? Plus, he does have firepower,
Well,
just
they
like
do always
Endeavor.
that to Charlie Brown, so...
I would have thought, okay, it's an interesting theory. It seems a bit heavy-handed for this series, and I would have thought Todoroki's seen enough of. I would have thought we'd have much bigger like foreshadowing of it if it was true. They've made the connection that Darby hates Endeavor and has a past history connection to him, but Todoroki has had no reaction to Darby or descriptions of Darby before now. I'm assuming Darby is the guy that either got injured when Endeavor was trying to save people, or is essentially like Shigaraki was the person that Endeavor wasn't able to save, or something like that.
Well, remains to be seen. Either way, I do think that there is still some reason the third child isn't shown yet. Well, fourth child.
I thought there were more than 4 kids.
No, as far as I know, like, even the picture with flashback shows 3 children without Shoto being there.
Possibly. I always thought they implied they had a lot of kids, and it was literally Endeavor trial and repeat.
Well,
Fair
at
enough.
least, like, the wiki page shows that he has 4 children.
Okay, fair enough. I might have just picked up on this. Then again, it was before they just kept on showing random like boys and girls, and I assumed there were different ones each time.
Yeah, well, even then, like having 4 children just until the last one actually showed the results you wanted, that's still kind of scummy.
It's such a great like living representation of how much of an asshole he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, actually seems like he might get some redemption that doesn't feel hackneyed and forced.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get some. I'm interested to see how far they go before he.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. Like, usually redeemed villains don't really work all that well because people just tend to forget. Didn't he used to be a giant asshole who potentially even killed some of our friends?
And this,
What you gonna do?
And then this.
Do you remember when
address it.
Orochimaru stole kids?
And here, I had some. I was in the WMR chat yesterday, and I've seen some conversation about, and the showing through Hawks, Horikoshi is showing Endeavor's drive to become number 1, which resulted in Shoto and everything, all the abuse as admirable. And they are just showing the drive as admirable, not Endeavor's methods in doing so. So there is a possibility to do both, to have these shades of grey. And I think that Horikoshi is handling this really well.
I sort of see it as it was admirable up until but he drove himself to self-destruction, and then sort of, because he's admitted before that he knew he could never overtake All Might, and that is the point where he started like the arranged marriage and children. So at the moment, the point he technically gave up of trying to surpass All Might himself is the point where he went down the dark path.
Yeah.
And I think it's Hawk saying this, like, in this moment, he is himself being just like, no, I've got to be where All Might was because I have to be, and I will throw my body on the line. So there are 2 different types of Endeavor trying to surpass All Might. The good side is him being a hero, and the bad side is him being a horrible, horrible person. And it's an interesting dichotomy, because at the moment it's like they are the same person, and it'll be interesting how he addresses it from now on.
It would be interesting seeing, him being a child farmer. So, Shoto, you have failed me. I'm gonna take on one of these Gracefield kids to be my successor. I enjoyed this chapter immensely. I'm definitely rooting for Hawks and Endeavor to become a team that is the new symbol of peace together. I think it would fit the themes of the series, as from the start they even...
Oh yeah, because they're moving into teams now, aren't they? Like, that was the big focus of like the new... Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
also, if they can rename their attack Icarus.
Yeah, from the start they also that from the start they portrayed even All Might's cult of the individual as kind of I wanna say
Hey,
toxic.
All Might's cult of the individual made Todoroki. It's like it's not always great.
Yeah, and kind of what ruined both Todoroki and All Might in the end, since everything was on his shoulders. So. Moving from that to predictions, I guess, I think this may be where the world of heroes is heading towards, focusing on teams of heroes rather than lone wolves that carry the weight of the world and on their shoulders. Yeah, so,
It makes sense because Deku's best abilities have been shown on how to organize his friends around him.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's a very good direction. It's a very mature direction to go to. And yeah, I'm very much enjoying this. Milo?
I'll also add that the anime recently covered the All for One versus One for All fight, and it really did United States of Smash justice.
Yeah, that music swelling up, the animation going kind of distorted just to show how much power there was. That was one awesome scene. Paid off like 100%.
Oh.
Now I really
through the season. It's pretty good.
Now I really want them to do the overhaul fight, see if they can touch that, because I feel like they could like improve it greatly over what the manga did.
Fight might have been good, but it was really just that it was. I'll just say it, Horikoshi is not that good at drawing action.
Yep.
It's often pretty messy, and it doesn't flow well from one panel to another.
I noted this in these chapters. He's the formless villain was a bad choice. I couldn't tell what was going on half the time.
Whereas like you compare the Nomu All fight in the manga, where it's just like a panel, it's just like a 2-page spread, and then in the anime it's really embellished in a cool way.
Do you reckon when they cover the overhaul fights, they'll actually have the girls do something?
I wouldn't be too hopeful.
I hope so much we actually have that fight because
Well,
that was
I mean,
bad.
okay.
Especially
Well,
since
okay. Here's
they're
the thing.
covering
They
a lot
did.
of the material, so
They
I'm
they
wondering.
did add a whole episode for Froppy in season 2, so it's not
That was
completely
kinda
out
cool.
of the question.
By the way, was it just me, or did they change up some of the pairing? Because I've just been watching it. Did they change it? You know, when they were doing the ghost walk, didn't they change up some of the pairings?
I can't remember.
don't
It
remember.
wasn't really that big a thing in the manga.
Well, it one moment was because I thought that the two of the pairs going around was Earjacks and Make Things Girl.
Momo and Jiro.
Yeah.
Our favorite ship. They are a really popular ship now.
It legitimately, I can see it happening, which is a fascinating thing to see in the manga.
I always thought the people were more into shipping Momo and Todoroki.
That's just because
Nah.
they're the same people who want to ship Zuko and Katara. It's just like these are the two stereotypes people like to ship together.
I'm not really a shipper myself, so
you ship the pretty boy and the girl with big boobs.
Did Katara have big boobs? I don't think she did.
Comparative, he was 14. I don't know.
I think Avatar was generally pretty good on the whole give the women tasteful designs front.
Yeah, especially because they were 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that covers everything I wanted to say about Food Wars. Food Wars of Hiroaka. Hero food.
Yeah. So guys, any more predictions, or shall we move on?
No, I don't have much. My hero always surprises me, so I'm just.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this Endeavor conflict spills out into future events.
Because it seems like a pretty big defining event for where they're going next.
All right then. So, let's move on to Black Clover, chapter 162 and 163. Oh dear.
That's a good start.
I mean, my general impression of these chapters was this is very standard and fine. If you guys were much more frustrated with it, I may be interested to hear why.
I can't be frustrated because this is just the same shit it always does. There's nothing new to get me angrier than usual, so...
Yeah, I'm just more frustrated at the direction this arc went in general. It's kind of best represented by the probably one of the last panels, where just everyone is hugging Luck, and Aster's just like on the side of the panel going yay. So there was really no narrative emotional purpose for me being there, but the manga is still focusing on me for some reason.
Yeah, like, I'll say that if this ending had been achieved only by Vanessa and Magna somehow, I would have thought this was a really fucking cool chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But it had to force in Asta because,
Black Clover.
yeah, sure, I know there is a reason, and if you give me months and a team of researchers, I'm probably gonna be able to even come up with it.
The reason's because it's Black Clover.
I probably wouldn't care for this chapter at all, even if it didn't cover Asta, because, again, was it ever a question that Luck wasn't accepted in the guild? No, I think I asked. Oh yes, I asked this question again about Gray and Gordon back in the day, and. Was it ever a question that Luck wasn't accepted in the guild? Because everyone seemed to like him from the start. So nothing in this conflict was tied to him not being accepted. So I feel like this bit has just been lazily slapped onto this spine despite having nothing to do with it. Luck's crying moment doesn't feel earned to me at all. And that's most of my hang-ups about this series. Trying to have these big payoff moments without build-up, which is a quality it clearly shared with Fairy Tail. You know, the defenders of Black Clover frequently call it the kind of epitome of shonen.
That's not a good thing,
just
though.
Shonen action distilled. I don't think Black Clover even stays true to the virtues of the genre, since. Okay, so you have friendship, effort, victory. So friendship, the relationships between characters have largely felt shallow and artificial to me, especially between the two leads. Other characters in particular seem to exist largely for the purpose of making Asta look good as he steals the fights, like we see here in the Magna and Vanessa's fight against Luck. Effort? Asta never feels like he has to put any effort to accomplish his feats, to gain power-ups and to win his battles. The most I've seen is in the time skip in the first chapter, and even that that was a time skip when he trained really.
And that was a time skip. That does not count.
And victory. Asta never loses, which makes his victories feel like nothing really was accomplished in the first place. So, I think right now I'm fine with Black Clover not being good, as opposed to last week. I hope this arc of Black Clover would change my opinion on it, but I think we're still gonna end the podcast disliking it, unfortunately.
I think going forward, now that I don't have this podcast to catch up on chapters for, I think Black Clover might be one of the shows that I just reserve for occasional binges rather than keep up with weekly.
A while ago.
Yeah.
It's not worth the time or my time or effort.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna probably read it maybe for weekly manga recap, but I don't know. I might drop.
Oh yeah, there's that as well.
Yeah. Thing is, the argument about it being the distillation of shonen anime, be like that's honestly not a good thing. If it's a distillation, it means I've seen everything in it before, which I have, and it adds nothing new. Even if the metaphor is flawed, because something purely distilled is poison. If you purely distill alcohol, it's ethanol. You die. It's the stuff in it. It's the stuff that dilutes it and the impurities that make it taste good.
Yeah, I really like series where that can mix something interesting into an established, set of tropes. I've always said that, for example, I don't like comic relief characters if they exist solely for the purpose of comic relief.
If they're Jar Jar Binks, they're not good. They're not good characters.
I'm trying to think. There was a comic relief character I really liked recently. I'm not sure who they. I'll say if I remember them.
Oh yeah, I'd be interested if you can find one.
But if they are devoid of an emotional, dramatic arc, I generally don't like them. If there is a serious character that exists solely for the purpose of being serious, I usually find them just boring.
So you don't like Ida then?
I'm sorry?
I'm being facetious. Like Ida from My Hero Academia keeps on returning, but to the fact that I'm the class president. It's like, cool, Ida. You used to have emotions.
Ida is the comically serious, so he's the best example of a character.
He's like I don't remember his name. The class pres guy, the class pres looking guy in Danganronpa. He's a lot like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. To be honest, do they have the same voice? Do they have the same dub? I think they might.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god! I should have brought this up when we had Sam on, but he looks exactly like the Aikido guy from School Rumble.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's mostly generic anime man. Sort of type of look. So, all right then. Well, I don't know. Has the promo for the Black Low gag manga been translated? I wonder.
No.
Yeah, I did see it, and
Oh my god!
really, this is even dumber than Black Clover. Like,
Is that
compared
possible?
to this, like, it makes Rock Lee Springtime of Youth seem like something like I don't know, 20th Century Boys or Berserk.
This is the most unfunny juvenile shit I've ever seen. I mean, I would say
Do people stick fingers up other people's butts?
no, but I mean, there is a scene where the character of Asta just rushes to help someone. Then he just falls down and just his trousers fall down.
And this isn't a chapter of Black Clover, right?
It's.
I'm wondering. Okay. Do you guys think? Your thoughts. Okay. I'll go. I'm just wondering. Do you guys think the Eye of the Midnight Sun are going to get completely defeated in this arc? Do you think, or do you think it's just going to Leash is going to somehow get away and get another plan?
I would fucking love it if Leash runs away and comes back for another arc, have it be like and the series treats him like a credible villain after having never won.
Well, he did.
Rocket at that point.
He did overpower Asta and Yuno just now and knocked them back.
Did he? I thought he ejected them from his building before they had another bullshit power up.
He did it with a big laser beam. So he basically knocked back their magic and knocked them away.
I do love that Leash has never legitimately done anything to make him scary. Even his opening of I'm the big villain was getting his ass kicked.
I've mentioned this Black. I've mentioned this Black Clover. You go.
The thing is that kind of makes him a little unique. So if there was a proper plan to it, as there seemed to be a bit until now, I would have liked it more, but just starting from a Spandam Loki type villain that isn't really supposed to be that big of a threat.
I mean, Okay, this Black Clover stan I've mentioned a lot, that I argue with a lot. He always brings up the fact of like, oh no, he got clowned by Yami, who's really strong. I'm like, that would work if he was meant to be like an underdog villain.
Yes,
But
he's
he's
literally
not.
he literally took down Yami's boss, who is intended to be infinitely more powerful. It's like, you've literally been like, we're gonna fight this big bad guy. If our boss comes along, we'll win. So we're gonna have a load of excuses why Yami can't just go up and kill him for ages. It's like,
the thing is, I kind of like that since it could be argued that he just won through trickery, and only now
But he didn't.
just gained powers that make him actually scary.
oh, beat the Wizard King. Yeah, no, he won. Yeah, that was at least like a generic thing that worked okay. It's like, I'm gonna beat you by focus. I can't beat you, so I'm gonna attack everyone else and make you protect them. That was cool. The fact that he took like 3 chapters to die was funny.
Although still, why didn't he use the arrows of lightning before?
Because it's Black Clover.
Yeah. It is Black Clover.
Black Clover.
It's another one of those series. It's like, I'm just like, why legitimately people like this, and I don't know why.
I've said this before, but its popularity, kind of the extent of it is, it sells fine. It doesn't sell per volume. It sells less than Food Wars, and even at times Promised Neverland, which doesn't even have an anime. Most of its lifeline is basically the fact that the kids who just read Jump and don't buy tankobans very much always vote it really high.
So is it just like the third option on everyone's list? It's like,
yeah,
I like this. I like this aspect of shonen, and I guess Promised Neverland. Yeah. It's just like, it's the perfect middle ground.
It's essentially the anti-Hunter x Hunter, which never does well in the rankings, but it generally targets the adult audience a lot more. So whenever a volume sells, it's like one of the highest selling volumes of the year, behind One Piece and Attack on Titan. So yeah.
I would make a joke about that being about supply and demand of Hunter x Hunter, but yeah, just like, the Hunter x Hunter volume just came out. Well, I'm not going to have to buy any of those this year, so I can go and buy this volume.
Yeah. Okay, we got one more volume of this weird clusterfuck of an arc.
Only half of it's drawn. The other half is in crayon.
No, it's so weird though. It's like there are like panels that look incredible, and then the rest of it's just like scribbles.
It's great. It's like written by a guy.
It's Sakuga it's like Toei when Toei Animation do a really shit-looking One Piece episode, and then there's like a moment that looks amazing. Yes. It's like that in manga form.
It was like the end of the Ennis Lobby fight, which is like lovely. Like half of it is lovely in animation, so you can see where the budget went. But I just, it's an interesting thing if it's written by a guy who can literally write what he wants. Can't be asked for the rest of it to say, hey, go publish this.
I tell you what, I wouldn't be very disappointed if Black Clover turned out to have the same release schedule as Hunter x Hunter.
I just want it cancelled. It's honestly more annoying to me that its space in the magazine isn't being offered to something with potential.
Yeah. So guys, any more predictions?
Black Clover will continue being Black Clover.
We really care.
I think I have a feeling. Yeah, I'm leaning towards this arc will wrap up the Midnight Sun thing. They'll beat Leashed, and then maybe a time skip or something. Because obviously the end point for the series is going to be Asta becoming Wizard King, and I don't see that being right after this.
What would be quite funny is if, like, the next arc they go and like deal with, I don't know, the Heart the Club or Spade Kingdom, and they go and get help from the allies in the Diamond, and it's just like, just no one ever mentions the fact that Mars is mind controlling their king ever again.
Oh god.
It'd be like it would be the Naruto thing of we'll get Gaara and our allies in the sand. If only if Gaara hadn't been just like, I'm a good person now, I'm working towards that. Hey Naruto, I've terrified everyone in this city to listening to me because of my demonic sand powers. We're here to fight with you. Hey, it's Black Clover. All of my predictions about Black Clover have so far become true. And all my predictions have been Black Clover will be Black Clover.
Well, I guess you can't go wrong in that.
Oh no, my predictions are it will do everything wrong. It will be Black Clover.
Okay, guys. So, shall we move on to the Promised Neverland?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's chapter 93, and so guys, I can't believe Emma's fucking dead.
Oh no, it's totally a shocker. It happened. No.
Yeah. Well, I
Was
haven't.
it, I don't read Promised Neverland. Did this happen at the end of a chapter, perchance?
Yes.
Oh. At the end of the last chapter, in this chapter, it gets.
Did we find out that 5 minutes ago she had this amazing plan that everyone knew about? Because that wouldn't be like Promised Neverland at all.
In this arc, surprisingly, we haven't got a lot of plans, but because for such a strategic series, the strategy has been very plot holy recently. So, we now have the end of the fight with Luvis, and so Emma, gets resurrected a bit. We have quite a nice.
Please tell me
sequence.
she's a zombie. That would make the series amazing.
Oh, we have quite a nice sequence where she remembers everyone that's important to her and that contributed to her motivations, except no Songju and Mujika because fuck them. Yeah, but this was quite a heartwarming scene where then she gets up and she says that her future hasn't been realized yet, and shoots Luvis with the trick gun, which why didn't she make use of it before, since it was shown to be so useful, and it would contribute so much to this fight.
This though, if we want to be positive for a moment, this chapter has some really damn good art. Like Emma's sinking beneath the surface, the metaphorical surface as she's dying, as well as the panel where Louis is like, wait, that shot is, and then just a panel of white. Like, it could be lazy, but here it's just so striking. It's like you are hit in the face with a flashbang, and there's nothing, no sound, no light. It's all white. That's really powerful.
Yeah, we can see that.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Emma's flashback where she's remembering all the people who are important to her and her reason for carrying on, how many of them can you name?
Crone, Isabella, Phil, Anna, Nigel. We can't. Billy Bob.
Okay, fair. You're naming more than I was
Don
prepared
and Gilda.
to. Like,
Don and Gilda.
yeah, like I was gonna be like Ray, Norman, Don, Gilda. I don't know any other names of people in this entire series, and I stopped reading this pretty recently.
I think it's just I mean, with all due respect, I think we just pay attention to different things, and regardless
Fair
of the
enough.
quality of the series.
It was just my problem with Promised Neverland was that I don't know who these kids are. Why am I meant to care about them?
I got a very angry fan of the series on Twitter telling me, "Oh, they don't have for that," and yeah, they do. They have all the room in the world. It's a weekly shonen manga.
Yeah.
Yeah, the characters are not. are not deep at all, especially in the background, especially the background ones.
Yeah.
I just find it really weird that people stand this series over Doctor Stone so much.
Huh.
It's because it's an edgy. It's cool to say like Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
It's sort of about kids where they fight, and it's not your typical shonen. It's just like, yeah, but it kind of went downhill after Gracefield.
Yeah, it's got the same probably aesthetic fan base as Bleach did, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Because when Bleach was new, it was like wildly different. It was just like, it's Bleach. It hasn't changed in 10 years.
It's kind of people who just look at the surface of the artwork and kind of see if it's more realistic and if it's more if it's darker.
Which is weird. Because when they like going chibi a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of their point. But it might be that that's just the kids, so they're drawn that way. All right. While I haven't enjoyed the majority of this arc, this sequence was heartwarming to me, and I'm good with this. It's an okay end to a bit boring arc. I would even be okay if the series were to end next chapter. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. It's fine.
I think that would be a bit of an unsatisfying conclusion given the huge scope they've set out. But sure.
I'm really interested. Where do you guys think this series is going? What do you think is going to happen next? Because every time the series has finished something they've set up, it's gone to wildly different places and like themes and styles of storytelling.
I really hope it's not just more straightforward action. Like, this was cool for like an arc, but if it's just more of this, I'll be a bit bored.
Yeah, I just hope that we now get to explore like the whole William Minerva stuff that was set up at the start.
I have no interest in the fucking books or William Minerva, but sure.
I just hope for the sanity of everyone still reading it, it's not more of that fucking exploration, because that was awful.
Yeah, I don't think Shirai Sensei really makes good use of Posca Demisu's artwork. Especially since you could get a lot more creative in these settings, but thus far it's been a bit too much like our world, but bigger.
Yeah, the shame is it's probably going to stay as an action series, because any series that starts struggling, it's instant saving grace. Is like, I can become an action series and
it's
support
weird because
myself.
Promised Neverland isn't even struggling. It's like it's a big hit, even though it hasn't had an anime yet.
You could tell for a while though that the writer hadn't quite planned anything after Gracefield House.
Sure.
So even if it's not struggling in the rankings, when I was doing it, it's like, credit to you, man, for keeping on going, but you don't know what you're kind of like making this up as you go along. Like, you're doing it well, but do you know what happens in like a year from now?
So
then again, Oda keeps on changing his mind about that, so I'm not.
It's not too harsh of a judgment, you know. Most mangaka are more gardeners than they are architects.
Pretty much. But I was just like, this is fascinating to watch, like someone literally flying by the seat of their pants. It's like, this feels like Kubo when he was at the end of Bleach, but he stopped caring.
I made the prediction last week that we are gonna go full on battle series with the Promised Neverland. With the experimental farm, we are gonna give the characters special powers to combat.
I want to see. Yes, that would be.
What do you think about
that? Would be
this?
a massive shot. to jump. That'd be great.
If they do that, I say now I'm just gonna drop the series.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that, but I can definitely see them doing that.
All right. So
Oh.
I think we're nearing the you haven't had the chance to talk last week about the Promised Neverland, you guys, because only Dr. Nova was on. So, I guess do you guys want to talk a little about your overall thoughts, how you like the characters?
I don't know, like series right now is in that spot where it's like, yeah, it's there, but it's there.
Gracefield House was amazing.
Yeah, that's true, but since then, like, even I defended it at the start, but nowadays it just feels like it's there because it has to be.
Yeah, like I fell off it, but this arc was interesting enough for me to keep on reading it. I was like legitimately, when we were going through it, when they were doing the exploring and just meeting the wild demons, I was only doing it for this and only occasionally not reading it 5 minutes before we discussed it. But like, it was interesting, this Goldie Pond stuff. I kind of dropped it when I realized that, you know, when they had the thing of just like, they gave the reveal that we've been letting people die for waiting for our chance. It's like, well, what? That's bullshit. Like, they did that. It's like, we've been selling our comrades because we couldn't win at that point.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, let me have this deep, memorable moment about how much I care for my comrades and how I'm not going to let any of them die, apart from all of those people we let die. I was just like, this is wrong. It's like, I don't care about you kids, and you are legitimately retconning the stuff I did know about you to have meaningful, deep moments. I think I'm done with this series.
Oh my god! This would be so easily fixed if they just you know, had the opening I don't know, found the secret bunker and just had, oh yeah, there are a lot of cool weapons there that
if they literally had a thing of we can fight back now,
just weren't available to us because we didn't have Emma's pen.
Yeah, that would have been that would also been a fantastic thing of like, these kids are really smart. They have had 24 hours and have come up with this plan because of like, when all their friends have been dying, and their heads have been like, if I could only have in this situation something that could take out this demon in this way, it would work. Like, that would work really well. But no, they have literally been selling their friends to survive, and then want to have deep, meaningful moments about, because they've suddenly decided, yeah, I care a lot about all of them, but I actually care if you die or not, so I'm willing to risk my life in this plan for it. It's just like, no, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So that concludes our diatribe on manga Twitter's favorite jump series.
That makes so much sense. Like, Twitter is, yeah, that is their demographic, isn't it?
I'm gonna say, okay, I'm just gonna say I'm probably not gonna drop it. I'm probably just going to, like with Black Clover, just give it a bit and binge it in chunks, because I feel like this whole protracted fight was not helped for me at all reading it in weekly bits. I feel like I'd have enjoyed it more if I just read it in one go.
I didn't. I enjoyed marathoning, reading it in chunks more. It was definitely better.
Mm-hmm.
Can we move on now? I feel like I'm already falling asleep from talking about it. Like,
all right,
seriously.
Just wanted to talk maybe a little about Billy Bob, because we're nearing the end of his character arc, and yeah, he's an alright character, but I feel there was a little too much focus put on the pretty basic character arc that he had. So he's experienced a huge loss in his life, so he no longer trusted in working with a group, and has to be this lone wolf now. And Emma tries to recover his trust in others and his ability to form bonds that he's repressed. And I get that he's meant to be a bit like if Ray and Emma took a different path, if they lost some friends along the way. But this whole arc was a bit of a slog to read to me. It was better on a read through, as you've said, but yeah. So, right. That's all I have. If you don't have much to say about him.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So, let's move on to We Never Learn, chapter 68 and 69. Hey, best chapter.
We could just think those are numbers.
I don't know how this has happened, but Kaminami went from, when she was introduced, being my least favorite girl in the series to being like my second favorite by now. It's
Which
incredible.
One's Kaminari?
She's Legal Lolly.
Ah, Legal Lolly. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
It's
She's been
amazing.
great.
It's amazing how much she's grown on me.
She's a lot of fun. I rather like this whole arc. All of the silly Yuiga and Fumino stuff is pretty fun, and I rather liked Ogata's moment of gratitude towards everyone in this chapter too.
Yes, that was very sweet.
Really nice emotional moment, and I would have never thought that the udon sale side plot would be the most compelling of them all.
Yeah. Also, looks like everyone's predictions of it will be all the girls was kind of wrong. They did try to fake that out, but then like, oh, it's a dud.
No, it's Mystery Girl X. It could be any of them, or it could be someone completely different.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
one of them.
I'm kind of fine with that. I kind of fine with stretching that out a bit, especially since
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's all
there
the
is,
girls,
if they've already said like, who knew that would be true, and then they show who it was, they kinda are at their last leg.
I've said this, but I feel like when this gets an anime, this scene, this motif of like meeting someone at the fireworks will be used a lot in like the opening theme, or at least it'll probably be like the second opening or something. In the same way that the key is used a lot in Nisekoi, and the key in the lock.
Which I did love was, as imagery goes for finding true love, it's like, this has got undertones I don't think you're implying. Yeah, no, I honestly, of all harem series like school festival arcs, legitimately the best.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. Nisekoi's was actually pretty hilarious with the play they put on.
I did not care for that.
I'm just glad this one didn't have I'm just glad this one didn't have a beauty pageant in it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god!
Like-
This one didn't have a beauty pageant, and My Heroes had.
Oh fuck
Wow.
that! That was such a weird. Like that
You
was
thought-
literally. It
You
felt
thought
like
that was
the.
bad.
Yeah, but
thought
this
that
one
was
did
fine,
have
yeah.
like idol girls singing on stage.
True. It still bugs me that the teacher wasn't wearing a mask, but yeah, all of them are like all of the ones in Jump pale that I've read pale in comparison to the awfulness that is the one in Persona 4.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I was so uncomfortable throughout both of them.
I mean, one of them. Yeah, I was uncomfortable for the right reasons, especially the anime version where you just decide to own the whole thing.
See, I wish they'd done that in the game. I wish they'd had it so that they owned the roles and it was kind of cool. But instead it was just like framed as, oh, they're dressing up in drag. How weird. It's like, oh, we're really this is really
at
lame.
least, at least Teddy owned his.
Yeah, true. Yes.
And now we're talking something else, so let's get back to...
Yeah.
You know what makes me uncomfortable? Kirisa being included in the shot of all the girls that are
She's not
candidates
gonna
for
win.
Yuiga.
She's not going to win, but she is the highest in the poll.
She's the worst one. She has no personality. Even setting aside the team, her jokes aren't funny. She has no personality.
Wait, which one's Kirisu?
The teacher.
The teacher, yeah.
Sh-
Yeah, sorry.
I would say she
I
has
about myself
she
for a
has
second.
personality, quite a lot of it, in fact. But just the fact
Yeah.
that she is the teacher, no, please let it not
It's
be her.
it's a fantasy that I'm fine. Like it's a kid's fantasy. It's just like it's creepy if you think about it. properly for a second, but it's a harem series. A lot of stuff is creepy if you think about it for a second. I was just really glad her sister wasn't in it.
I wonder when that's going to rear its ugly head again. Actually, wait, I didn't mind that chapter as much as you did.
No, I got more annoyed at it because I thought they were bringing her like prominently into the series. I'm less annoyed at it now because it's like she's just sort of like occasionally there.
I wouldn't be sad if she replaced Kirisu.
No, Kirisu is the.
At least she's.
I like
really
Kirisu as a
good.
She's
character.
funny enough to keep around. Like, she's not a good addition to the harem, but
See,
she's
I don't,
funny.
I don't even find her jokes funny anymore. I just roll my eyes whenever she pops up.
Oh yeah, she is repetitive,
It
but she is funny in concept. It's just that the author is overusing her, and
Well,
I'm
yeah.
I'm not gonna say that I know for a fact that it's because of her popularity, but it
Oh, it
might
definitely
have played a role in it.
I still find the jokes funny. And when she occasionally can actually give adult wisdom, it's just like, I can see why you're around.
I had a weird thought the other day, which was Hitsugaya was like the most popular character in Bleach. He got his ass kicked a surprising amount for a character that popular.
Yes, and do you remember every time
The Wooby effect.
for no reason he always turned up to when in group shots and groups when he had no other reason to be there. He was legitimately written into the Fullbringer arc, not the Fullbringer,
Just to be there.
the Aronkar arc, just so he could be there. It was.
I mean, I guess I'll
Yeah.
take that over Sasuke just completely hijacking the entire arc of the plot.
Hey, I didn't mind. Then again, I marathoned that, so I didn't mind it. But
I completely
Yeah.
forgot that Hitsugaya existed somehow. God.
what you mean, Ruki with white hair?
Maybe I should read.
I love that their designs are the same. It's very funny.
Okay. Maybe
With the
I
same
should-
face.
They are the same face and pretty much the same body until Ruki gets a redesign. It's very funny.
Yeah, maybe I should maybe I should read the early parts of Bleach again. I don't know.
I've re-watched everything up until Soul Society. I have considered revisiting the Arankar stuff as well. It's just so long, is the
Yeah.
thing.
Like the Soul Society arc was legitimately my favorite part of Bleach. I didn't care much for like the early stuff.
I did rather like it, but you know what? You know that I recently found the Bleach discussion, the Bleach character discussion that we had when MAS was around. Maybe I should ask him, and if he allows it, I can release it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. So shall we move on to Grail? I can't really do it with a stammer. I wanted to join in, but all right. So that's chapter 62, 63, and 64. Since we had the last stream over the course of 3 weeks, so we missed 3 chapters. I do really like this stretch of chapters. We finally have some attention for Kohaku, as you guys have predicted, and I do love all the comedy, like Homura not even expecting that Senku, the enemy leader, is a scrawny weakling, or even Magma in the latest chapter, who's just wait, Senku's dead. So it's great.
And we also get some more humanization again when he's like, it actually is the best job to just take him down while there's.
Yeah. Again, considering killing
Just
the
murder
statues
them.
and refraining from it is really nice. Don't know how Homura managed to collect pink dye, given how Tsukasa's kingdom isn't scientifically oriented, but I don't know.
The entire thing about Tsukasa's kingdom not being scientifically oriented is bullshit, by the way. Like, I love their treehouse with like the with like the highly skilled engineering required to make the bridges between them being from the non-scientific kingdom.
Right.
Like it's like it's very funny, just like being like, technically if you were being no science at all, it would just be like, we found sticks. The fact that we've attached stones to sticks is his technology.
Yeah. So, I also like Kohaku's hang-ups about killing and her trying to go through with that thought by talking it over with her chief is a very nice character moment. It's what I've wanted for a long time. She knows she's capable of it. She doesn't want to do it and just needs the formal justification from Senku. So that she's sure of what she's going to do.
I do keep forgetting he's the
Yuzuriha
chief.
seems to be completely on Senku's side still.
What? 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 Wait. I was talking about Kohaku. What?
Yeah, I was just mentioning that my theory was wrong, as a side point.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we see Taiyo and Yuzuriha are back, and it's a very powerful moment, and I like some detail at the beginning, just using Show Don't Tell to remind us of bless you, of the capabilities of the characters. Like Yuzuriha with the eyes on her craft manages to notice something is wrong with the grave, and she tells Taiyo about it, and he digs it out with pure force.
Yeah, he's the muscle idiot still.
Mm-hmm. And then they're just like, Senku! And the guy guarding them is just like, they are really emotional this time around.
Yeah.
And Senku stonewalls it like usual, going like, "Don't go crying, and don't shout so stupidly loud."
Yeah. The fact they're still a thing is weird in this series.
Well, I mean, they kind of were a big thing at the start, so they can't really just drop them without anything.
And then they got written out, and it was better. But
Well,
their absence kind of endeared.
I say they
me.
are.
Eh?
yeah.
Also, I think this was just a
Okay,
this
Milo,
was just a really nice 2-page spread to reintroduce them on. I really like the way it slowly built to it, and just the big 2-page spread with Taiju with tears in his eyes. It was a nice reunion.
Yeah. And also we have the whole sequence of the chase, which was very nice. It was very effective at establishing how important communication is in warfare, and them using this info for a pincer attack is simple, but again effective. So yeah, it's this kind of simple strategy that I would want from Promised Neverland as well. And yeah, I've already shared my predictions about the series when we had the episode with Chris. But Kastor, maybe you would want to.
Honestly, Dr. Stone is another one of those series where I'm along for the ride. I don't want to make predictions because it's well written enough so that I can't actually be sure what it's going to do next, and it's in a good way.
Yeah. It's,
in the same way, I wouldn't predict what the next One Piece arc is legitimately going to entail. I can sort of tell the conclusion by now, or guess at it because I've read enough, but just like, I'm not going to say like this is what's going to happen in Wano because Oda's a good writer. I'm not going to say this is what's going to happen in Dr. Stone because the guy's a good writer.
What would you like to happen?
Honestly, what I wanted to happen was to have the other two actually have gone over to the others, been there long enough to be indoctrinated into the other side, and actually have this debate of whether the problem science has is worth bringing it back. It's like science has done great things, but it has also done terrible things. So that would have been an interesting debate.
I could kind of still see it since they're just reuniting with the friend, but I'm gonna say it would be a bit more subtle than sudden betrayal, because we have established how important all those three are to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, and even when I said betrayal, I usually say like it was most likely going to be some unwitting, like Tsukasa's blackmailing him or something, but it doesn't seem like even that's gonna be the case.
Yeah. Long term, after this arc concludes, I'd be interested to see essentially as the town grows and their area of influence can expand, especially because they now have telephones, so they can essentially go further away than a day's travel, to meet another settlement and actually have that we are two different civilizations in the stone world. We will obviously have like cultural differences, and let's see how the hell we deal with those.
Yeah, especially I always mention the three fires that we had back in the day. So we have I don't know whether the flashback kind of introduced said that the older couple was splitting off from Byakuya's side, but I can't remember.
They went to the mainland to find medicine for dying people, and were never heard from again.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe they could still somehow establish a civilization. I don't know. Still, it would be quite interesting. All right. I think that's. Is this all we want to discuss?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I mean, even if you guys want to just jump start, I'd just sit on the side.
I'll briefly go over the jump starts.
Oh, okay.
Can I
I'll
go
just
with?
sit on the
Can I
side.
go with?
And...
Can I go with the Robot X Laserbeam first?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you remember how last time I said I actually like this series now, and I wanted to see where it goes next? Well, it's ending.
It goes nowhere.
When I saw chapter 62 end. Okay. Yeah, I gotta give props for that. You actually had a time skip right in the middle of the series. Which actually, given that it's a 62 chapter series, that now makes it even funnier, since you could have had an early tournament arc set still in school, could have given it more time and make it actually compelling. I guess instead we got Dorian Green out of it, so I'm not complaining. So this is a pretty standard chapter for a rush finale, unfortunately. So Robo makes his last shot, the ball stops just short of the hole. Wind blows, puts the ball in the hole, he wins, and there was much rejoicing. Yay! Now,
Brave Sir Robin bravely ran. Yes.
Yeah, it was well drawn. It was.
And then his
built
kid grows up and becomes a Shinigami. I've got it.
It was built up as well as it could have, and we finish with a three-way match between Suzaku, Robo, and Yozan. Yeah. I was surprisingly sorry to see the series go, although it's it's not that tragic of an end. I haven't had much emotional connection with it, but it was fine in the end. I would have liked to see where it goes. And
I'm
Yeah?
I'm surprised I'm surprised this series didn't do too well, because I saw it was doing okay for a bit, and I figured, it'll get an anime and that'll pop it up, but I guess the interest just kind of dried up.
I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. It had a boring protagonist and was about golf.
Yeah,
Food
like
Wars
I
is
dropped
about
this
food.
around chapter.
No,
Yeah, but it
no.
goes
Food
over
Wars
the
is
top.
about the over from attractive women losing clothes. It's not about food.
Yeah.
When it's about food, it's boring.
It Robotech's Laserbeam could have been made interesting, and the premise isn't what's at fault. I'm just saying.
But the main
the premise
character
is
was
workable.
fucking boring.
Yeah,
The execution.
but
is the
it was not a good idea. It's a difficult premise to make interesting.
the
Like
last.
when Kuroko was a lot alike, but at least at the time they also had the other main protagonist who had a lot more personality.
And
You mean, what, in Kuroko?
Yeah, Kuroko
Yes.
in Kuroko.
Yeah, they had Kagami for him to bounce off, and all the rest of the team as well.
Yeah, and in this, I actually like the last few matches. Tomoya being useful was pretty good. The match against Ginro, Ginro was very charismatic despite his comedic side. Dorian Green was just great. So yeah, it's if only it got to those opponents earlier.
What, you wanted more of a time skip?
Now, if we could have those opponents in like a school tournament or something, it could be workable. But I guess that's Robotech's Laserbeam. Oh, guys, I think we have a special guest appearing on our show. Hey guys, it's Murayo-san. Did you miss me?
No, we're
I want to
stopping
talk
this
about this
immediately
chapter.
now. No.
I'm afraid that he just got mutilated by a stray golf ball. What a shame. A tragic
Good.
end to a young, talented, if a little boring player. Quite like this manga for the most part.
And nothing of value was lost.
Yep.
All right.
For both, but
Shall I quickly go over the jump starts?
Yeah, let's talk
yeah,
about
sure.
the
I'm
jump
curious.
Okay, so the first jump start is called Seiji Tanaka, Secretary to the Managing President, General Time Industries. I believe this is the mangaka's first series as well. And the premise of the show is that this guy, he's a bit of a slacker. He's not doing very well in school, and suddenly this man with glasses who looks like Sakamoto from the show Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto? Very kind of, he wears a suit. He's got like very straight hair. He's called Seiji Tanaka.
Death Note.
Yeah, called Seiji Tanaka comes along and tells him, "I'm your secretary from 20 years in the future." And basically, 20 years in the future, he becomes the president of a time travel company with annual earnings of 50 trillion yen.
I
And
love a time travel company has annual earnings.
and
Yeah,
and
like,
basically,
at that point, why not just go in the future and take all the money there?
so
Invest 1 penny in a bank account, go 1 billion years in the future, and collect interest.
and so
Well,
like
I mean, do you really
so-
think humanity is smart enough to last 1 billion years before we destroy ourselves?
so Seiji
Sorry, Hovin, go on.
Yeah.
So Seiji's mission is kind of twofold. On the one hand, he's trying to make it so that this guy actually becomes that president, so he becomes good enough. And his main mission is to protect him from other companies who are sending time-traveling agents to take him out in the past so that he isn't the one who invents time travel. Or something like that. Or his
Okay.
company doesn't invent time travel.
And therein lies the problem, in that this series is incredibly unfocused, as exemplified best by this second chapter, where basically he has to take on what am I trying to say? He has to take on a whole pile of papers within one night, something he's never managed to do before, and needs to work to get this done. Then, just in the middle of the chapter, Seiji just disappears off and like fights an agent who just comes in from the future. They have a fight that never interacts with the rest of the chapter, and then he comes back and just through determination, the guy's finished all the paper. Not only finished all the papers, but finished twice the amount. And it's not like it. There's no going into like him changing or developing or struggling, like how he overcomes his inability to work. He just does all the papers, and we just get half the chapter focused on this not very interesting fight.
It's just like, excuse me, sir, I need to go and take care of something. Punch, punch, punch. How was you doing? Fine, I guess I never tried before.
It's like, yeah, it's like, and they're trying to find this guy, this potential genius called Denai in the school, but they don't know who he is. And it could be
the Digimon world.
It could just be a completely different name because he could have gotten a pseudonym since. So yeah, it's this series feels very half-baked to me. It's a potentially interesting premise, but it just doesn't fit together at all. And I don't particularly like the art style anyway either. It's very blocky looking.
So I have to say that, at least in this promo picture that's in the chat right now, that guy that pointed to as Battle Secretary looks a lot like Sir Nighteye.
Yes.
He does have that look to him.
The thing is, Sir Nighteye was a stereotypical design to start with. It's essentially just like standard, tall, attractive Japanese businessman.
Anyway, so shall I move on to the other series?
Death Note, but which no one is mentioning, and I'm concerned.
All right.
But yes.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. I like the premise of this one, but it sounds funny enough. But
yes, I like this one a little better. A lot of it is down to the premise. It's kind of it looks like it might be a romance series, high school romance series, called Iris and Taiyo. And this guy called Taiyo, he makes music using Cubase, which is an actual software that I use. Yay, it's nice to see that pop up in a manga. And he comes across this girl who's kind of the resident rock star of the school, Alice. And he's like, oh, we're totally in different worlds. And
Wait, hang on. So a guy who does music programs meets a pop star girl. We've just finished watching this. Why are we reading it now?
In fact, it's not even like I think it's not revealed that he makes music until much later on in the chapter. So we're from different worlds, I guess, makes a bit more sense because it's like she's really open about how she does music and really popular in the school. I think it's more like that, the way they're framing their two different worlds. There's a random panty shot with her, which I was a bit that you didn't need that in there. That was really I guess it's to like, because he finds her sleeping, so I guess it's to emphasize the fact that she's a bit of a slob sometimes, but like it just is like it was the only bit of fan service in the chapter, and it just stuck out. It was unnecessary. But yeah, she hears him playing a piano in the same room, and she decides, hey, I recognize that melody because it's later on. She takes him back to his shop, her home, which I think is in like a music studio, music shop type place. And she has a sister who looks like Nana, and and yeah, she wants to basically form a band with him. And the eventual reason ends up being that like the thing that got her into music was she listened to his stuff back when he posted it online, and he took down the piece, but she listened to it so many times that she remembered it. So hearing him play that piece again, she knew oh, you're the guy who like really inspired me. And yeah, basically it moves on. There's like I think it's a cultural festival type thing, and there is a concert, and the lights go out, and it's like, oh, she's waiting for you. The sister tells Taiyo, hey, she's waiting for you, go play with her. That sounded bad. Go play music with her. And
he starts playing and she starts singing, and they decide to get a spotlight on, but no one in the spotlight only shows her, so no one knows who the pianist is.
If he gets
And
a
so-
dead mouse helmet, this will be a good series.
I'd love it if it went in that direction. I think this series, it's a bit cookie cutter, but the artwork's very nice. It's very blushy. They like to give her and him blushing faces a lot of the time, which is an interesting choice. Looks kind of cute, I guess. It's not like it's used to just make them look demure and like shy. It's just like a trait, like.
Have you noticed that the blush normally goes over his hair?
In the panels that I'm seeing, a lot of them don't.
Like, there's a couple where the hair hangs down in front of his face, and there's this idea where you can see his eye, and it's not blushing, and the blush effect is over his hair.
Okay, that's only in a few panels, I think.
It's just quite funny.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at the cover image, and you could make the case that this guy looks a bit similar to you, Milo.
Also, in
So right now
also,
I'm
in the
kind of looking at it. Okay, so
this is why Milo likes this series.
someone made a series that's specifically wish fulfillment for Milo.
Also, because
Oh
in this cover page, she apparently has neon up her skirt, because like if you look at the cover page, her skirt is lit from the inside.
It could be white on the inside.
It's got like this mauve neon. It's like, where's that coming from?
Yeah. I mean, it is just a case of like a lot of what I'm doing, studying right now, is focused on music production. So
Frankie
seeing a
Butterlight.
series, so seeing a series focused on that is cool. I think in fact I haven't voted in the poll yet. I might vote this up just in case we can get more of it. Although I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes in the coming weeks.
It sounds like a huge premise, and from how you describe it, it sounds like it sounds like you can. It's pretty well executed, I guess. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
Yep.
All right.
Now I just gotta like go to the Jump magazine, see what the poll link is, because you can't just find it conveniently on the website. You have to like go through the issue. It's kind of annoying. Okay. Anyway,
That's a
The
shame.
Jump website isn't well made. The devil, you say?
All right then, guys. So, wow, that is gonna do it for, well, this week of Stammer Stream and all the weeks to come. So, thank you all for watching, either on youtube.com/c/Wensleydale Cheddar, or live at twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. So, even though we're not gonna talk live about manga anymore, I am definitely gonna keep streaming to continue my speech therapy, usually playing some Pokemon. So for things coming up, there's also the spiritual successor show of Stammer Stream called Bounty Board, a late-night news show set in the One Piece world. You can follow me on Twitter at @WensleyCheddar for updates on Bounty Board, the live streams, Penganta, Well Triggered, Friendly Faces Everywhere, #Race Pokemon Journey featuring our very own Dr. Nova, Drunk Earthbound with Magda and Alec, Pokemon Leaf Green Nuzlocke, which we are going to start with IDrawShittyArt, and many other projects. Follow Milo at Hovin with an H for Helicare, and Trial by Guilty Crown, a series of anime commentaries he does with Kastor, and with me occasionally. And that will soon release its final binge episode. You will find it on YouTube, either in the description below or at the end of the annotations that should appear in a couple of seconds, maybe. I don't know. It should be at the last 20 seconds of the recording. Anywho, follow Grail on Twitter at Nuclear Android, and follow Dr. Nova on Instagram to see his delicious cooking. That's instagram.com/Jonah_Snow. So, huge shout out to IDrawShittyArt for making our channel art. You can see when you visit our YouTube channel. Also, thank you for, supporting me, in general. Thank you. You can follow her on Twitter at IDrawShittyArt. And a sincere thank you to our subs and Twitch followers. It's thanks to you that we can complete with our eternal rivals, the manga mavericks. And really, despite how we sometimes say that, oh, nobody watches us anyway, we're really thankful for the 20/30/50 of you that keep watching our streams on YouTube. I don't know about you guys, but it means the world to me that anyone wants to hear our jump debates each week, let alone tens of people.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna miss this. I mean, I can definitely I agree with the choice to draw it to a conclusion, but I had a lot of fun doing this, and who knows, I might do a few little one-off podcasts talking about manga at some point. Obviously, you'd all be invited to that. Because I do like talking about manga a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, we still have to do the Danganronpa 3 podcast at some point with Nova on, because I need to yell about that whole thing.
That whole piece of shit.
Yeah, and still more trial by stuff is coming along. So.
Yeah, the Trial by Guilty Crown final episode will come out eventually. I just need to be bothered to edit it all, because we were struck by some complicated technical difficulties, and I've got a lot of stuff to get through in the editing process.
Yeah, and I'm commissioning a lot from you as well at the moment. So, right. And yeah, our new Twitch follower this week is Linkian Truth. And yeah, I wanted to take the time to thank you guys for all you've done. At the end of every stream, every early stream, I used to say thank you for talking to me, and I meant it then, and I mean it now. Thank you for considering me someone you want to chat and debate with my stammer and general awkwardness and all. And also, my long-time dream was to have an ongoing series, and the fact that we made to 50 episodes over the course of a year and a half, you have no idea what it means to me. I'm glad I met all of you. Well then, just Jonah, you were the first one I managed to make friends with on the forum, and your cross-account rant is one of my favorite, if not the favorite, moments of Stammer Stream full stop. Milo, you are probably the funniest of us all. You always manage to keep the stream light-hearted, and I like just talking with to you about anything really. And and of course I love that you had the initiative to then create your own series on your channel. Barnaby, debating with.
Say that.
Eh?
Yeah, I was just like, we're closing up. I'm just going to be quiet and try not to robot the ending.
Okay.
So I guess.
Am I making?
Okay, you're back.
Back?
Am I making things too awkward? Shall I cut this out? Oh, sorry.
We
No,
got,
you don't. You were
you
just
just went
roboting
robot
out.
and then went silent completely for a while.
At which point?
Well, you're still sort of roboting a bit now.
Yeah, I'd say when you
Oh.
started the whole finishing thing.
Yeah,
and
you totally.
goodbyes,
Yeah, you
did
cut
that
off
as a
after
robot.
you cut off after you had said the nice things about me. So.
Aw. Okay, so I'll just say the other nice things, and then yeah. Well, what would Stammer Stream be without technical difficulties, really? So,
Luckily, the recording is on your end, so it doesn't matter.
yeah. All right, so Barnaby, debating with you is always a pleasure. You have this very rare ability of presenting your arguments and supporting them without putting the arguments you don't agree with down. It's really good. I wish I had a chance of chatting with you more, with our last stretch of the series.
Yeah, sorry. I am now a qualified teacher. It has been a hectic last few months.
Yeah, same, and that's why I'm ending too. All right. And Grail, despite saying that you're about as negative as I am, you always manage to put everything you have in the projects you take part in with us. You always keep your promises when it comes to that, and if you can't, you always let us know. So I respect your work ethic. I really do a lot.
Thanks, man. I hope we still got some projects left in the future, and assuming my car doesn't break down again, next Monday I'll be finished with that audio edit.
Nice. So we should have Trigger again. Although who knows, with Article 13 coming up, who knows what we're gonna do with the projects we rely mostly on fair use on. Well, let's keep it keep it happy for now. So huge thanks to our guests, to Limron Mayasha, to Colton from Manga Mavericks, to Sam Leach and Chris Larios. I never would have imagined we would get to have guests. That you would agree to come along and find the time to talk to each and every one of us. Well, except Kastor, because he was on none of those.
I'm really bummed I didn't get to meet Chris, but nothing was working this week.
Yeah, I just have to say that I have to thank you for getting yet another one off my bucket list because of you. Like, now you've done 2 for me.
Aww.
Be on the show with someone from Channel Awesome, and to make an episode of a Bridge series.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Yeah. Oh god. I can't believe how much ODER has done for us, really. So, it's been an honor, guys, all of you. So, all right. I suppose that's all we have. And once again, cheers for watching. And we will see you soon with Bounty Board and other projects. Take care.
Bye.
Blue.
Lemon curry?
Here we go, off the grails. Don't you know it's time for Wensleydales? It's Cheddar, vicious and reviled.
He's here to annoy, 'cause he's saying Usopp is best boy. You could say the emperor loved his child.
Oh, we can give our opinions and jump from this thought that's fucking huge. Chat with me, debate with me, oh yeah. It's time to fire up the stream, fire up and scream. Justice League's a harem anime. If hungry Nami starts to howl, don't fear, don't shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your Milo girl. So let's both stream, just me and you, drunk as those we do. Don't forget you have to shout out blue. You know that guilty crown's a bore. Nothing else can make me this whore. I'm flipping the Twitch. Get ready for this, oh, let's do the Stammer stream. Stammer stream, welcome. 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 Dr. Stone, Dr. Stone.
spin a wheel, take a chance, leak a lolly, start a new romance. Whole garbage harems are so crude.
Take a turn on the path, add a Dr. Nova to the cast. You know that any podcast needs a prude.
So what if Kastor thinks Windows not great? They're just different points of view. I on this like Pegasus. Oh yeah! It's time to fire up the stream, fire up our dreams. Set yourself on fire, #rain. And if you find you're short on joy, don't fret, just don't forget that you're still a Milo boy. Pudding, Takumi, Billy Bob, all black Clover knobs.
These nights look like bloody pepper pots.
Remember which club to equip when a robo has a time skip. Put a comb through that brow. Now you've got kapow. Oh, let's do the Stammer stream. It's time to fire up the stream. Shout out to Max Scream.
His typos were always such a laugh.
If Sanji's eyebrow starts to curl, don't fear, don't shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your Milo girl. Now listen, Ben, Brad, Eric, Earl.
Takemoto is best girl, but I don't know just how her trousers were. You know we're Team ODAR.
We're the ones who made it this far. His ass does come face. There's no time to waste, so let's do the Stammer stream.